Okay.
Well, hello everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today a world-class astrologer and friend, Pam Gregory. Thank you very much, Pam, for coming on today and for agreeing to talk to me a little bit about 2020, the aspects that we're seeing astrologically, and about the seminar that I've got coming up in October.
Yes, it's really exciting. I'm delighted to be speaking with you about it, Barbara, and it sounds really exciting. So just explain where it is, when it is, how long it is, etc.
Yes, so it's on October, it's the weekend of October 1st and 2nd. It's in a lovely hotel in Athens, which is just opposite to the beach. Very accessible. You can get to the centre of town. You can be out in the countryside. It's a beautiful location. And it's going to run for those 2 days.
Fantastic. So 2020 is obviously a pivotal year, and that's why you've chosen that year to study in depth. So,
Yes.
are you going to be looking at the charts of the individuals who attend as well to see what's happening for each of them in 2020?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, for those who are actually coming to the weekend, I'll be looking at their charts in detail and looking at the life areas that are going to be impacted greatly by this lineup, because I think we're all going to be impacted by this lineup in Capricorn. Don't you? Would you agree, Pam?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity for people to come along and have their chart analysed by you. I mean, it really is smashing, because then people can get themselves in line for what's coming up for them as individuals in 2020. So for anyone who's listening, I think it's just an absolutely unbeatable opportunity to spend 2 days in Athens with Barbara. So tell me a little more about the content, Barbara, what you're going to be looking at in the seminar.
Yes, well, we'll be looking at the fact that everything lines up. There's a lot of endings of big cycles and beginnings of new ones. And because it's all in Capricorn, we're looking, Saturn, obviously, at structures of our society now in so many areas: the economy, education, politics. Everything is really at the stage where people are realizing, I think, that it's not working largely for the vast majority. But where do we go from here? And I think that these interim years between 2012, when there was a big shift, and 2020, we're right in the middle of it now. I thought that this was the perfect time to really look at how we can see the next steps to our biggest advantage with this powerful lineup. I mean, it's really powerful, isn't it?
And it starts right in the January, doesn't it,
Yeah.
of 2020, smack
Yes.
straight away in the first month. And
Yeah.
Capricorn, because you're obviously thinking also of the whole banking system,
Yeah.
financial companies, big corporations, governments, they're all very connected to Capricorn as well.
Yes, exactly. And I think all of that, people can see that the whole system is bankrupt. You've just got bankers adding zeros on computers and saying, here's more money, here's another mortgage for you. But who's paying for that? Well, the people. We're paying for that, really. We're paying for other people, shall we say, corrupting the system, which is already so corrupt. The currencies are probably going to go to zero, the dollar and the pound, and it's going to be a race as to which one's going to be worth anything soon.
So it's going to be a very significant time for those long-term structures that have really defined our society.
Yes, exactly, Pam. It's exactly so. So we're going to go through this period of Capricorn, and also the exciting part with Jupiter and Saturn going into air signs finally, where they're going to stay until 2159. So we've got this, if you like, looking for lighter structures. I think the structures we've had have been ever so heavy, and people feeling very limited by, having to have a job, having to have security, trying to stay in the same place. In America, needing health insurance, pension, all these things, these structures have held us very limited. in many ways.
It's very interesting as well, isn't it? Capricorn, I think of very much as a top-down structure of power at the top, whereas Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn moving into Aquarius, is much more to do with egalitarianism. So there's a whole shift socially, because the Jupiter-Saturn cycle, which I'm sure you're going to be talking about, is very connected to social structure, isn't it? So that's a huge shift just in sign from Capricorn to Aquarius. That redefines how it operates, essentially.
Yes, hugely. And also means that we are connecting with one another in so many pockets of the world. I mean, it's already happening, but I think 2020 is going to see the crumbling of many of the governmental and political structures that that so many people hate and don't see where we're going to. And I think 2020, we may begin to clear the path for what's to come. Yeah, I think it's dead exciting, isn't it?
Wow, that really is amazing. And I know that you've talked in the past about Capricorn's link with time, because Saturn, in the myth, is Lord of Time, Chronos, chronology, and I know that you've been thinking along those lines as well, that link to Capricorn too.
Yes, and how we're very time bound. We get stressed, if we're late, or there's this feeling again of time being restrictive. And I think we're going to find new ways of understanding time. I think physicists and science is going to bring us a new perspective on time that's going to be lighter and easier. And I think that mentally now, if we can begin to prepare for these changes, mentally and emotionally, we can actually begin to pave the way for humanity, if you like, to make these changes more easily, because we're more prepared individually. So when we come together as the collective, I think that 2020 could be a breeze.
That is really fascinating, isn't it? Because, obviously as astrologers, we're obsessed by time, because the birth time is so crucial to get the chart correct, to really define the beginning of that life and all that unfolds after that. So, but in quantum theory, there is no space and time. Exactly. So there's going to, so what you're talking about is a really fundamental shift of perhaps how we understand astrology, as well as time.
Yes. And I think that certainly as everything begins to move into Aquarius 2021 onwards, gradually we've got the move towards Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about freedom, no boundaries, and the freedom of the individual, and also great advances in science and technology at that point.
Absolutely. And of course, Aquarius is the sign most linked to astrology too.
Exactly.
So we could see, a raised profile of the subject in general at that time.
Well, wouldn't we love that, Pam? Wouldn't it be nice not to have a conversation stopper when somebody says to you, "And what do you do?"
So it sounds incredibly exciting, Barbara, that you're going to be covering a lot of ground and, looking at global trends and presumably some of the big superpower countries and how they're being impacted as well.
Yes, very much so, because it's what's exciting about these trends are that they are very personal to each one of us, but as each of us personally wakes up to this new consciousness, because I think you'd have to be half dead if you're not aware that something is shifting. Something is deeply shifting, even if you're one of the people who's in pain right now, who's going through a loss or something that's really difficult in your life. You have a sense that there's a reason for all of this now. There is a reason behind all the things that we've been going through. And I think that this is a point at which we can really, to me, it's like an aeroplane that's been sitting on that runway for such a long time. You know how it is when you're sitting, they've packed your bags and you're sitting in that blooming plane and they keep telling you you're going to take off and you're not yet. And you feel enclosed and you're in the aeroplane. You think, God, are we ever going to start moving? And I have a sense that we are beginning to gather momentum, and 2020-21 will be the time in which we really start to possibly fly.
That's so exciting, really wonderful. So for anyone who's listening who has any interest in astrology, this is such a special opportunity to take 2 days out and really plunge into everything that 2021 will, and going forwards from there, will represent for you individually and for the world. I highly recommend that you spend that time with Barbara. Barbara is incredibly experienced. She's an excellent astrologer, and I just couldn't recommend the seminar more highly. So really take the opportunity, because I know Barbara has very limited numbers with it too, and you're filling up fast.
Yes, it's filling up fast, and for those of you, sadly, who cannot come and be in person with me, you will be able to get videos, and there will be many afterwards that you'll be able to get of the seminar and what happened.
Fantastic.
So, Pam, thank you ever so much. I greatly admire your work, and I'd really encourage those of you to take a look at Pam's YouTube page. Just type in Pam Gregory, you'll find her, Pam Gregory Astrologer, and also her website, which is
pamgregory.com. That will get you there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
You. Yeah, thank you very much, Pam. And yes, looking forward to hear any questions or comments that any of you have got at this point that you'd like to ask. I'd be very happy to answer them. Thank you.